All right, ladies and gentlemen, my little hummingbirds, we've been gone for a really long time, but I hope you put that bunny back in the box, because we're talking Con Air!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasure.
Yes! 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 Let this music sink in for a minute. Imagine I have flowy, weirdly balding hair.
Imagine it and then never unimagine it.
Never unimagine it. Ah, this music. Come on. Ooh, the 90s had some sweet guitar riffs. This theme plays over, and every time he does something heroic, keep it going, that guitar riff just goes.
I think every time he steps outside, I think that goes
God
on.
damn it, just one more time.
Because our whole show today is
Just
going
us
to be
listening to
just
this song
listening
on
to
repeat.
the Con Air soundtrack.
Ladies and gentlemen, Guilty Movie Pleasure fans, we've been gone for a very long time, it feels like. It feels like forever.
It has
We
been.
are back with a vengeance talking about Con Air today.
I don't feel super vengeful.
I feel like I'm yelling over this. Do I have to yell, or is it just in my headset that this music is incredibly loud? All right, perfect. We're back. They
did it.
reeled it in.
We did
We've
it.
been gone. I have a daughter now.
Congratulations.
So thank you. That's where I've been.
Yep.
She's adorable. She's amazing. And my life is starting to make sense and getting into a little bit of a pattern. Whoa! Until that happened.
Whoa!
I'm glad I'm not imagining that. I thought I was sleep deprived and imagining that. But we're back. We're back for 2017. Sorry to keep you waiting so long.
That's the most exciting thing that's happened to me all day.
It is.
That lighting.
Well, I
change.
changed some mean diapers today. That was my excitement. So that's where I've been. That's my excuse. Jesse, where have you been?
Similarly, I started an Instagram, so like very similar. It's a lot of upkeep.
Just as much time consuming.
Yeah. I have the same amount of anxiety, I would imagine,
Yeah.
that you might have with your
Sleep
child.
deprivation on what filter to put on your pictures?
What filter? The captions are killer. Just like
Don't even get me started with the hashtags.
a lot of anxiety.
You gotta get
I
it right.
won't. I tried not to get you started on the hashtags, and then you brought it up, and so
did.
here we are hashtagging.
Here we are.
Yep.
Well, we're back.
Here we are. We did
That
it.
is the important
We did
thing.
it. It's a new year. It's 2017, and we're both feeling good, I think.
Feeling good, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Con Air, which has been requested by several fans of the show.
Or-
all 10 of our fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, or just one fan over and over
I
and
think
over
one fan
again.
over and over again.
I'm not sure. But
Not sure.
it was requested 10 times. So.
It is ironic that our Twitter handle has not the most followers, but they are super active.
Yeah.
Like, anytime we tweet anything from there, we have the best fans. You are a small but mighty group.
The best in the world.
So just tell your other friends to be fans too.
Or fans of you.
Yeah,
I think
there
that's
we
what
go.
you were trying to say,
Yeah.
right? Tell your other fans
Tell your
to be fans of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
And it can be fan math.
So Con Air, man, this movie's fucking awesome. I'm trying to find when it came out. Why doesn't it say on here? It's like
2017?
2017. It's
97.
97. I was right.
1997. This was in a string of like. This was when Nick Cage went from being kind of a dramatic, very well-respected actor to this was his beginning into self-parody. Not there yet. Yes.
I mean, kinda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is still awesome. Like, now when a Nick Cage movie comes out, you're just like, oh no. But back in the day, I mean, we forget he was in Leaving Las Vegas.
Sure.
Academy Award nominated or win? I think nominated.
Definitely nominated.
Definitely
if he won,
nominated.
he was for sure nominated.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did stuff like Adaptation, Raising Arizona. Like, Nick Cage has a fantastic resume
Yeah.
until about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But
National Treasure.
that's a fun movie.
You know?
It's fun. And
Found some gold.
His first foray into action that I recall was The Rock, which we got to do on the show.
Yes.
Even though there is nothing guilty about The Rock, that is a perfect action movie.
Sure.
And then Con Air and Face Off. And I forget which one came first. I think Con Air and Face Off were around the same year, actually, 97.
It might be the same movie, just cut differently.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But man, this movie specifically, I don't know how to take it seriously on his hair and accent alone.
Just the accent. You
Just
could not even be looking at him. Like, he looks a little like Fabio
Yeah.
in this, right?
I mean, you all know. You've seen the movie. He has weirdly, like, receding hairline with just locks for days.
By the way, his hairline hasn't changed. Like, it receded
and then
like
just stayed
instantaneously and then stayed right where it was for the last 20 years.
He did the Steve Martin, but instead of going white, it's his receding hairline just, like, when he was 30, his hair receded to, like, a 50-year-old and then just stayed
And
there.
then it just stopped until he turns whatever age is hairline appropriate for where he's at right now, and then it's going to continue. But it, like, hurried up, and then he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's so ridiculous. So, well, now, while that we're talking about his accent, let's just play the, which clip is the daughter? I don't even know, in the jail.
God, this is my favorite sound clip. I'm glad we're starting with this one.
Which one is this? Do you remember what it's called? I'm Coming Home or something?
Coming Home?
Yeah,
Coming Home.
Can we play Coming Home?
Dear Hummingbird, break out the fine china, chill the lemonade, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, 'cause this boy's coming home to his ladies, coming home forever.
Forever.
The best thing is I read on IMDb that he went to Alabama and spent some time there to perfect the accent.
Success. He did it.
Success.
Yeah.
I know friends from the South. I've never heard them say forever.
Forever.
It's weird. It's such a weird... Can we play that again? Because there is something just so off-putting about his accent in this movie.
Forever.
Just one more time.
Forever.
I want him... I would love it if he had this accent.
Forever.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you said, it's self-parody. Like, he's doing an impression of the way Nick Cage normally speaks, but in a Southern accent. Like, it's a weird sort of
it's a
taking a step back and looking at himself and being like,
you know,
this is how Nick Cage would do a Southern accent.
I told my wife last night, I woke her up because I was watching this movie till pretty late and she was asleep with our daughter, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to love you and Daisy. Play that clip.
Coming home forever.
Or that. Yeah. Do you just have forever? Let's try that again. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I'm going to love you and Daisy forever. Oh. Starting off great.
I think we nailed it. 2017.
2017.
In the books.
Man, you know, I just wish dead air could go on.
Forever.
Yeah. There we go.
Boom.
It's not Steven's fault. It's all my fault.
I wish that we could improv with this sound clip.
Forever.
Forever.
If you go to Olive Garden, there's never-ending breadsticks and salad bowl, and that just means you can eat.
Forever.
I like that I sort of didn't really mouth along. I said, "Oh my god!"
But I really enjoyed it. It was a strange dubbing that you did there.
So we've gotten into the accent already. His accent is completely
Spectacular,
hilarious, and spectacular. And before we get into the plot in under 3 minutes, Jesse has a confession to make to all of you.
I do. This 1 week ago, yesterday, was the very first time I had ever seen Con Air.
Get the fuck out of here! Get out of the studio!
Do I?
No,
real?
not really.
For real?
But that's just so offensive to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesse, you got to give me a little backstory. Because we've been friends for a while, and I thought we were on the same page with things. But I feel like there's a gap in your life where you didn't see movies, or did you date a girl in high school who didn't let you go to cool stuff? What happened?
To be honest, like, I can't even tell you what happened. Like, I don't know.
Like, this came out, and
gap.
all my friends were like, we
have to see
shit.
it. I can tell you I definitely saw Face Off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what
saw
the
The
other
Rock,
action
right?
movies. I've seen The Rock. I own The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock is fantastic.
I saw The Matrix. Like, what were other action movies around this time?
Yeah,
I think just like
Broken Arrow.
Yeah. For some reason, Con Air just slipped through the cracks, and I don't know why.
Maybe you were turned off by his hair and accent.
His hair and accent, the combo.
Like,
I was like, that is
silly.
too perfect. I can't mar my impression of Nicolas Cage for the rest of my life with the perfection in front of me right now.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, I'll wait till I see 10 more of his films, because it's never going to get better than that.
The bar is going to be set too high if I see Con Air in my formative years.
It's like if I'm going to sing karaoke.
Right.
If I open with Baby Got Back, I have nowhere to build up to. Because that's my piece de resistance.
Sure.
You know? Or bit of French flying at you.
Or Parents Just Don't Understand by the Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff.
Once you
for
hit
those
that,
who know
there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
This movie, I think I actually appreciate this movie more now.
In what way?
Because when I saw it when it came out, I remember thinking it was cool, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, but after The Rock, it's a little bit of a letdown, because The Rock is like a perfect action movie where it's serious but funny, and I don't think I fully appreciated how much of a intentional action parody this is. It has to be.
I don't think so. This is the weird thing about context is like when you see it
in hindsight, it looks like the funniest action movie.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. I think it's meant like as a straight action film. But I will say, just in that specific genre, like you talked about The Rock a little bit, Con Air also.
Jerry Bruckheimer was on fire in the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
Now all he does is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Which also great. He says with hesitation. Neither have I. But what I was going to say is like anytime you get a band of thieves together, I'm in. I'm 100% on board. If you like put criminals in a position where they have to work together, it's awesome and hilarious, and it always works.
Yeah.
And it doesn't it always works. You're going to say Suicide Squad.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed Suicide Squad.
I haven't seen it.
I enjoyed it.
Because of that reaction. But
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
You know, my voice goes up higher when I kind of half like something.
Would you say that's an alternative fact right there?
What was that song? Where did that come from? Oh man, that's how I felt when I watched Suicide Squad.
Wow.
The second half. First half's fun. Anyways, we're getting off track. But yeah, so what was your perspective on this since you've never seen it? Because now I can tell you, watching it now, I was cracking up because of how unintentionally hilarious, and like the first half of this movie starts off as kind of Die Hard on a Plane-ish or like Air Force One-ish, where he doesn't really do a lot. He just kind of sits around and waits for an opportunity. And I was joking with Renee how I was saying how like you could play a drinking game for every time somebody gets killed and he can't do anything in the beginning and he looks forlorn, like sad in slow motion, and his hair kind of flops in his face. And then it switches to halfway through where you can then continue drinking every time he runs in slow motion and a giant ass explosion happens behind it. So it's like, it's almost like they got halfway through filming and they saw the dailies and they're like, we don't have enough explosions. Let's make everything they hit
here on out
blow up.
Here on out, we're exploding.
I can't wait till we talk about the third act because it's the greatest third act.
When they run into Las Vegas?
When they run into Las Vegas and everything that transpires from that.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
God.
my general impression, let me just also say this, like some of this may come out sounding like a criticism and it's not at all. It's just, it was very enjoyable and I loved it for exactly what it was. But my general impression of the movie was they came up with what was going to happen 50 minutes in. That's an approximate number. I'm not thinking about something specific. But they came up with the middle of the movie. Yeah. And then they were like, let's make the whole beginning fit into that. Because there's a lot of stuff.
I could see that.
There's a lot of stuff that's either like brushed over or like, for instance, his cellmate was the nicest dude in the world.
Baby-O is the nicest guy ever.
He's so
From
nice
The Wire,
and
right?
helpful. And was he really?
Yeah, I think so. Wait. No. It's because he's in The Purge with the other guy that's actually
that we talked about from The Wire. Yeah.
And I've never seen The Wire, so I just assumed you're talking about Baby-O. Nope. It's the other guy who's chalky white on Boardwalk Empire. That guy's
exactly.
awesome.
Exactly.
This guy's great too. How do you say his name? Mykelti Williamson.
Yeah.
He's great.
He like was life in prison and he was just being transported to a maximum security prison and he was dying because he couldn't get his insulin, and just like the nicest dude. You're like, what did this guy do that was so bad?
Yeah.
And just like what got Nicolas Cage.
Oh, ridiculous. We'll get into that.
Yeah, like
it's absurd.
It's crazy. And like I think we have the sound clip, or maybe I didn't do this one, but the judge going over like, oh yeah, you're a lethal weapon because you have been trained by the army.
Why don't we play that while we're talking about it so we don't have to jump back to it? The judgment, clip you.
Cameron Poe, you have pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the first degree. With your military skills, you are a deadly weapon and are not subject to the same laws as other people.
Is that true?
Provoked because you can respond with deadly force. It is the order of this court that you be remanded to a federal penitentiary where you shall remain incarcerated for a term not less than 7 to 10 years.
What? Wait. And okay, I know we are. I promise we're gonna get in the plot right after this. But
I think we're about to say the same
opening
thing.
is fucking crazy. Where it's like, here's how they set it up. In case you haven't seen it in a while. They set it up with a montage showing how badass American Rangers, U.S. Army Rangers are, and a voiceover that's at a going home ceremony for people who aren't in the Rangers anymore, and it's like it's super exposition heavy. Like the Rangers are the best because they are. I know a couple Rangers and they're fucking intense. And it's like, they go in, leave no man behind, kind of like Sergeant Slaughter from G.I. Joe the movie. We all go home or no one goes home.
Yeah.
And then you see Nicolas Cage saluting. Like, it would have been cooler to show him doing stuff as a ranger instead of just stock news footage. But that's fine. That's beside the fun. I don't care. And he goes home and he sees his wife and he talks to a baby bump that's not there. You know, like it's just somehow he hasn't seen her in months and yet she's pregnant, but she's not showing at all.
And she's also like, hey, let's meet up at a bar.
Yeah, where she works. She's a waitress there. And then there's the world's worst clientele there who are the regulars that are like, hey, man, he doesn't deserve that ass. I do. And it's like, what? Who are
Have
these?
you just been staking this bar out to start a fight when this dude comes home? Like what's your deal, guy?
Clearly this guy has given her shit for months.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, my boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna get your nose shoved up into your face. You know, that was a little loose of the song.
That was my jam.
That was your jam.
That's
so these
Ben
guys
singing that song is my cell phone ring.
These
just
guys,
so everyone knows.
So these guys are just like unnecessarily aggressive, and then to an army ranger,
Right?
Like, it's like, what the
Show some fucking
these,
respect.
These three hillbilly dudes that are just like bearded, they're not even hillbilly. They're more like lazy bikers, is what they look like. Because they have like sleeveless shirts, and they're just like, you don't deserve her
like,
private dick or
so
whatever.
what? You're
And it's
gonna
like,
fight him?
Yes, because they go out in the rain.
And they like to the point of like nearly murdering him so that he has to kill you in self-defense.
For what? So
Yeah.
3 guys gang up, and then we're going on the plot, I promise. Don't get mad at us, people. It's our first show back. So there's so much to talk about. So they get the three guys on one. He kicks the shit out of 2 of them. They rip off his medals of honor and shit. And I'm like, first off, super disrespectful, bro.
Yeah.
Then the guy pulls a
different time back then.
switchblade on him and says something to the effect of like, I'm going to kill you, some really shitty line of dialogue. Yep. And then he jams his nose up into his brain. And they show you briefly that one of the guys picks up the knife and runs off. But the simple fact of witnesses seeing him and his wife's testimony and 3 guys ganging up on him.
And the bar owner that would like sort of witness the beginning of it.
And he's like, oh shit, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then the world's worst lawyer, where he's like, you got to plead guilty. You only get 2 years. If you don't, they're going to put you away for 7 to 10. And then what did that sound clip say? He gets put away for 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
He's the worst public defender on the planet.
So a couple of things. I'm just going to reiterate
and then I promise we're doing the plot right
a lot
after
of
this.
what you just said, which is like the first 10 minutes of the movie is like a whirlwind of just like, what the fuck is happening?
Just like really convenient
It's
plot
like,
devices to
we
get him.
have to get to the plane. And it's just like, yeah, graduation from whatever, comes home, kills someone, jailed, is in jail, gets out of jail, and here we go. But like that whole
I'm coming
thing,
home forever.
Right.
Forever.
But that whole thing is like a whole movie, and it's done like that. Literally is the plot of Con Air prequel done in 10 minutes.
It's Shawshank Redemption done in 10 minutes.
It's unbelievable. But
man.
But so, and then the other thing that I was going to say about like a weird like 90s thing that was done in this film is like 2 minutes. So he graduates from the Army Ranger School, or he's sent home, and like 2 minutes in, we already have this like sweeping diva ballad when he sees his wife for the first time. Like
How
that.
do I live
yeah.
with
like
that? Steven,
that belongs,
while we're talking, if you can find Leanne Rimes' "How Do I Live," I would love to play that at some point.
right. Like that should be the end of the movie. Like that song, and I think they do play it again at the end. But
You know,
like,
that was nominated for an Academy Award and a Razzie that year.
interesting.
Didn't win either.
Ooh, unsuccessful.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is it.
This is like what happens as soon as he walks in the bar and sees
Like
his
almost
wife.
as immediately as soon as the movie starts. That's what I was trying to
And
say.
then
There
it
we go.
bookends it because it ends with this song as well.
For the emotional oomph.
This is the shittiest song to put in an action movie ever.
It doesn't.
Oh,
it
God.
doesn't fit. I think we didn't say that.
Well, I
much.
think what happened, I read also that the composer had to bail halfway through because he had scheduling conflicts with previously being attached to Speed 2 cruise control.
I mean, you got to keep that commitment.
So that's probably why this score is basically this with this repeated over and then this. Just pick one or the other.
One of the more confusing soundtracks, I'd say.
It's, I think I may actually own this on CD. I went through a phase where I bought a bunch of weird soundtracks. Anyway, so let's do the plot in under 3 minutes. We have really built this up. We built up to this plot. So now that we've already given you the intro, I guess we can gloss over that.
Let's gloss over it.
Because I really want to get into, and I want to focus the show on the ridiculous amount of characters and then the third act. That's like the greatest. The third act is the greatest. So we're going to get into this. Plot in 3 minutes. Are you ready in the booth, Steven? Okay. Are we going to play the music underneath it? Oh, fuck. We have to. Oh, it's fine. All right. Ready? Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we start off with this montage of Army Rangers, like we said, and then he gets home and he sees his wife. Hey, buddy, my little hummingbird. And then, hey, you're Army Ranger. And then, we're gonna stab you with a knife. Brain. He's in prison. He's doing push-ups. He meets Baby-O. He's super friends with him. And then they get on this plane because apparently he can't take a bus. So he has to get on with the worst killers on the planet.
Right. And so John Cusack is setting up the situation where like they have a plan.
Tells you every character.
Yeah, exactly. They go through every person, and they are setting someone from the DEA or the FBI
as a mole.
As a mole to talk to Steve Buscemi, and they like have him set up on the plane, and he's doesn't want to, or he wants to bring a gun, but they don't let him. But then they sneak a gun on. Then they get on the plane, and the guards are giving them a bunch of shit of like, oh, we're fucking guards, fuck you.
Yep.
And
as
then
happens in prison movies every time.
Yep, exactly. And then Dave Chappelle lights someone on fire.
And a very racist Native American joke there. And then he lights a Native American guy on fire. He's burning. He's like, oh shit. First, we see that Malkovich and Ving Rhames have needles that they pull out of their skin and they pick their locks. The prisoners get free. They kill a couple of the guards. They kill a couple of the prisoners. And then he says, welcome to Con Air. Oh my God, what's going to happen? And then from there, it's just Nick Cage kind of moping around as people get killed and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then Baby-O his insulin gets
He's dying of diabetes. So John Cusack, for some reason, goes to John Malkovich's cell. And they're like rummaging around the cell, and they find that the wall has a huge hole in it, and they're like, "Oh no!"
And there's like somehow blueprints of the plane and like the anarchist cookbook and a bomb in a lunchbox.
I think they literally say, "There's a drawing of a plane." Like, so who gives a shit? But okay, so anyway, so then Malkovich is on the plane, and they've taken over the plane. He convinces the pilot, you have to make sure to tell them everything's fine. So they're going to Carson City to pick up Steve Buscemi. So they land in Carson City.
Pick up Steve Buscemi, throw off the guards with the gagged and tagged, thinking they're prisoners. Oh shit, we only have a minute. Oh my God.
Boy.
And then Dave Chappelle gets run over by the plane because he's putting the transponder in another plane. So that takes the FBI and the DEA over, and they end up trying to track down this people who are just doing a tourist thing. And then the plane's going. They're going to land in another place to get a switcher plane with this drug cartel guy. But it turns out the drug cartel guy is fucking him over. They kill all those dudes.
John Cusack has figured out that Nick Cage is on his side. So he meets up with Nick Cage, and he's like, he meets up with Nick Cage, and he's like, you have to help me. And Nick Cage is like, dude, I'm here to see my daughter and wife, and I got to make sure nobody dies.
No, leave no man behind. God, here we go. 30 seconds. So then they're like, he fights everybody on the plane. The helicopters come in. They're shooting everything down, and then the engine's blown out. And he's like, we got to land this. And Cyrus is knocked unconscious. He lands on the Vegas Strip, destroys half of Vegas, old school Vegas, not new school. Destroys all kinds of shit. Then they get in a fire truck. They're driving along, and Ving Rhames gets blown up by a motorcycle. And then John Malkovich, I'm going to save it because his death is amazing. And then he sees his wife, his daughter, gives her the ratty bunny rabbit that's been in a sewer.
Buscemi is free and gambling.
How do I live without you? I want to know. Oh my God.
There's no timer on Sweet Tunes, so I want you to know that.
Oh my God. So we basically, and that's our show. Thanks, everybody.
Nailed
All right. No. So we've already gotten into. I just want to get it. And Steven, tell me if we need to wrap up right at 7. Just give me a little note or whatever. Otherwise, we might go a little over. But we
have 3 hours of content.
We have 3 hours of content. So we already talked about the beginning, how absurd it is, how Baby-O is like the nicest man ever.
Yeah, they
don't
all
understand.
seem like a lot of the criminals seem like pretty chill.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the funniest thing, looking back on this movie, is that the guards are portrayed as bigger, except for the female guard, which her basic role in this is to be a object of lust for Danny Trejo's super creepy character.
Yeah, to be like...
Johnny 23 is his name, and he's a serial rapist.
The rape goal for Danny Trejo.
Which is like... But I'm glad that they drew a line there where like Malkovich, who's Cyrus the Virus, by the way, and Cyrus the Virus, he's done kidnapping, robbery, murder, extortion, killed more men than cancer. That's literally a line from the movie.
Look, just be a specialist if you don't want to get
Yeah, I
caught.
mean,
you
come
know
on.
what I mean? Like, if
Doing
you're
all
all over
these
the
things?
map like that, get it together.
He's a
What's your deal?
Yeah, he's jack of all trades and murders and master of all or none.
It seems like none because he got caught.
He draws the line though when it comes to rape, which is good on you for the screenwriters because otherwise it's like
He draws the line when it comes to other people raping.
he didn't do it though.
It's unclear if he didn't do it, but he had other stuff. Like, he was in charge of the plane, so he couldn't take the time out of his day to do it.
Yeah.
He didn't express an opinion one way or the other whether or not that, like, if he were in Danny Trejo's position, if he would be down.
I know. I think because what he says to Danny Trejo specifically is, can we play that clip?
Yeah, let's play it.
Because Danny Trejo's looking at the female guard, and that's where Malkovich is like down for murdering, like we said, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, anything. He's down with murdering people.
Yeah,
but he draws a line.
Jumping dicks, I think.
And can we play Jumping Dicks? It's clip I.
You keep that in mind when you look at her, because if your dick jumps out of your pants, you jump out of this plane.
Forever.
If your dick jumps out of your pants, you jump out of this plane. So I'm glad they do that though, but it is a little odd that a serial killer would be like, but they do say that in prison, rapists and child molesters are like,
They're the worst.
they're the worst.
They're
And
the worst.
In my opinion, they're the worst too, because that's fucking awful.
Sure.
Although murderers are pretty terrible
Murder's
too.
bad, yeah.
But the main crust...
We don't condone murder here.
We
on
don't
Guilty
condone
Pleasures.
any of their, but the filmmakers sure do. Because here's the thing. So the filmmakers clearly know on Johnny 23, he's the baddest guy there. So my question is, why not just kill him? Why even include him in the, hey, I don't like what you do, but I'm going to let you go and keep adding...
For a more diverse group of criminals,
it's just,
I guess.
Here's my biggest weird, like they have so many characters. It's hard to keep track. So you have Cyrus the Virus, you have Johnny 23 that we already talked about. We have Dave Chappelle's character who gets no intro, but his name's Pinball Parker.
Yeah, they like when the guys are going off the bus,
And
they
then they
give
do-
them each a long intro.
And then Dave Chappelle, they're like,
Chappelle,
he's
that's
gonna
Dave
die
Chappelle.
soon, don't
worry. We're gonna put a clay dummy of him in the cargo hold
so
of the
fake
plane.
looking. When Dave Chappelle gets swooped up by the plane and they find him stuck in the wheels. I know we're jumping around, but they find him stuck in the wheels.
It looks
and
like
it looks so fake.
It's a Dave Chappelle voodoo doll. I don't know how they
it
did
looks
that.
like a CPR dummy of Dave Chappelle.
It's
Like
so
they were
strange.
trying to go diverse with their CPR dummies,
Yeah.
and they just used Dave Chappelle as a model. So I want to go over some of the killers
Dave
real quick,
Chappelle
and
had
then
a
we'll get
heart
back
out at 7 p.m. and they were like, "Well, we need the
All
shot."
right, we got to get this. Billy Bedlam, who's also supposed to be this total nut job. He's a mass murderer, killed his... Here's the thing. He found out his wife was cheating on him.
Yeah.
But instead of killing her, he drove to her hometown, killed her entire family, including her sisters and their kids.
Sure.
Which is super fucked up.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm saying Malkovich needs to also maybe get mad at this guy, because he did some awful things too. And then Diamond Dog is a general of the Black Guerrillas, which is just their poor man's knockoff of the Black Panthers.
Black Panthers, maybe.
He blew-
or it's
he-
just a group we've never heard of.
Yeah,
We don't know that.
He blew up the NRA and they're talking to Denzel for a movie. They literally say that in the movie. They're
Yeah.
talking to Denzel to be in the movie. Now, Diamond Dog actually seems like he blew up the NRA. Nobody... that's not that...
I mean,
It's still bad.
right.
But on a sliding scale
Right.
of these other killers, he blew up people that advocate gun violence.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, like, I'm going to get in trouble for that. I'm sure somebody somewhere is going to get pissed off about that.
They advocate for any sort of gun ownership.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
go
yes.
there.
What I'm saying is blowing up the NRA as a political statement for
Right.
this character
Right.
versus murdering an entire family and Cyrus the Virus or Garland Green, who is Steve Buscemi's character. What did he do? I can't even remember now.
He's like a psychopath.
He's completely
Not that the other ones
insane.
aren't psychopaths, but they like describe him as a like complete psychopath.
Where do I have that in here? Garland Green, Marietta Mangler is what they call him. Butchered 30-some people. And can we play the wear it like a hat? Because that's what Garland Green did. I forget what clip that is. Where
Head is a hat.
One girl, I drove through 3 states wearing her head as a hat.
I want to specifically know which 3 states, because
Yeah.
if you're in the Northeast, like that's not that far. You know what I mean? That's
And I
like
mean, if you're
a
in-
4-hour drive.
if you're in somewhere like sparsely populated, then of course you could drive through 3
You're
states.
gonna be
'cause
driving quickly.
There's no one around.
If you're on the 10, like through New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana,
Yeah.
like that's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, but if you're going through like an a highly populated urban area with wearing someone's head as a hat,
Right.
and no one reported it. That's more on the people for not reporting it.
Are your
than
windows
him.
tinted?
Maybe
Maybe
that's what it is. So just to clear up,
Did
I'm
he
not
dry it out?
condoning.
Okay.
I'm not condoning blowing up the NRA before I get tagged by some U.S. government. I'm not condoning that. What I'm saying is, on a scale of 1 to batshit, Diamond Dog is more like the revolutionary guy,
Right.
who still did something awful. But these other guys, but the funny thing is, every single character in here is more likable than the guards. The guards are just
The guards are
total
huge dicks. And I get it, because if I were a guard on a plane like this, I would have to assert
You're a total
myself a
dick.
little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just strange. Obviously, this needs to happen, but it's strange that all these horrible people are on this plane, and then Nick Cage is getting his release. They couldn't have gotten him a different flight.
What? And it's so convenient. And in fact, we have a clip where I think Cage. Yeah, Cage sums up plot. Can you? Oh, sorry. Start it over. I screwed up, and I'm talking over the entire thing. We'll wait.
Oh, nothing. Except they somehow managed to get every creep and freak in the universe onto this one plane. And then somehow managed to let them take it over. And then somehow managed to stick us right smack in the middle. Forever.
Every clip just ends with forever.
And then...
That is legit the entire plot of the movie. That's where I feel like this movie's a self-parody, because they're admitting how silly it is. That we somehow ended up all these killers on a plane, somehow they managed to take it over, and somehow us two innocent people ended up on it.
I just think you might be confusing self-awareness with self-parody.
You're
I
right.
think
You're
they
right.
might just see it and be like,
it's a wink. It's
this
not
is
self-parody.
kind of what's happening, but they're not
it's
action
not,
movies, right?
It's not a full parody. It's not Last Action Hero.
Right,
But
yeah.
you're right. It's very self-aware.
It's just aware. Yeah.
We do have a couple guard clips just to show how big of a dick these guards are. Can we play Numbnuts? And then I think the other one is Testicles, weirdly enough.
See, this kind of thing puts me in a foul mood. These rules will be enforced. There's a hint of trouble if any of you so much as passes gas in my direction that offends my delicate nasal passages. Your testicles will become my personal property. Are you telling me what I'm going to be doing here, numbnuts?
That's the same guard.
He just rattles them off, man. I like that there's a lot of
imagery.
The specificity of dialogue in this is hilarious. If you happen to pass gas in my direction that offends my delicate nasal cavity or something, passages, I will have your testicles as my personal property. It's such a specific thing to say.
Yeah. Also, they're not on an elevator or anything.
These
guys are strapped into seats.
Yeah.
So for anyone to pass gas in your direction, you'd have to be literally laying under their ass.
Yes, or sitting right next to them.
I get his point, though.
The Numbnuts one is... You can play that again?
Are you telling me what I'm going to be doing here, numbnuts?
You know, my wife got real mad at me the other day because I was like, I'm gonna cook because I've been cooking more now that she has a baby, and it was a dish that I knew how to make, but she kept coming in and asking me questions just because she was nervous I was gonna overcook the chicken. And finally, I just looked at her and I was like,
"Are you telling me what I'm gonna be doing here, numbnuts?"
And then I just realized it was the exhaustion talking.
Yeah, you gotta.
That didn't really happen.
Get a hold of your emotions.
That didn't really happen.
Fake Ben.
That didn't happen. Fake Ben. Alternative facts, Ben.
Fact Ben.
That's what we're gonna do all day. These are alternative facts.
These are all alternative facts. When I was in college, we used to just constantly do challenges.
Yeah.
Pre-YouTube challenges. We would just do them for our own amusement. And there was one where it was we had one of those, not a mini fridge, but a big size with the doors on either side. Full fridge, full freezer. And one of the challenges was to sit in the freezer for 3 minutes. And so I had a friend.
This is a real story. I know it is.
I had a friend who did it. And obviously when he came out, he couldn't feel his body, and he came out and he was like, "You said you're
telling me what I'm going to be doing here, numbnuts?"
Yeah, I mean, but before I told him what he was going to be doing, that he just jumped me, and he was like, "I know you're going to tell me something, so."
That's all right. We got it. We still got that one. That's okay, Steven. Don't worry about it.
Apology accepted.
Don't worry about it. So then,
hey, I think right then Steven was like,
"Your testicles will become my personal property."
I mean, fair. Fair.
So, here's the thing. They all get, so we've talked about how these characters are on a sliding scale of crazy, and they're all horrible human beings, but super likable.
Yeah.
Arguably more likable, but than a lot of movies where they cram a bunch of serial killers in. They're super fun, because that's the thing. If you're gonna have a villain in an action movie, you have to make them fun to watch. And Malkovich is infinitely watchable in this movie.
He's great.
He is awesome. He's super crazy. Can we play one of my favorite clips whenever they use the title of a movie in the movie? Can we play "Welcome to Con Air"?
Gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I have the only gun on board. Welcome to Con Air.
Yes.
I like how even in that clip he got some exposition in there.
Yep.
He was like, "By the way, only gun on board.
It's so
in my
there's
possession."
so many on the nose things,
Yeah.
but it works. It works because this movie
it's
is
so great.
awesome. And so I forgot to mention that when John Cusack is expositionally introing everyone, saying Cyrus the Virus and giving everybody their rap sheet, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this, but like the DEA doesn't get the files in advance. They just get told by the local law enforcement.
Yeah, it's
by the federal marshal.
People will tell you that's a waste of time, but it's not. It's very informative.
It's what happens. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, the DEA guy, the main DEA guy, is like the world's most annoying stereotypical DEA agent.
This is my favorite
Ever.
my favorite part, and it's not just action films, it's any media. When there are cops or there is like a bureaucracy of some sort, whoever is the authority is always the worst at their job.
the worst.
Like, how the fuck did this person get this job? It's in everything, every TV show, every movie.
Yeah.
It's like this person makes bad decision after bad decision, just like like dominoes falling. Like, how did you get here? How did you do this? And it's
Should I
always the
say it?
person underneath that's like, I'm going to go against my dumbass boss and do the right thing.
Well, we'll just see what the next 4 years turns out to be, because we may have just voted in this DEA agent.
I mean,
into...
God, you're right. Boy, did that happen.
Oh, anyways, I don't want to get there. I don't want to go there, because last time I did that, most people were okay, and I got a couple trolls. It's all right. But no, this guy is the worst at his job. When John Cusack is listing off the facts as like, fact, a dead body fell on the ground with a note to me. Fact.
Which, like,
this happened.
time
Fact.
out. Let's. Oh wait, what happened?
By the
There's
way-
a note to you on a dead body. Let's investigate that.
Yeah, by the way, Dave Chappelle's CPR corpse, he's stuck in the landing gear and it's dragging the plane down, so they're going to be late to their rendezvous point.
Yeah.
And so Nick Cage goes down there with Diamond Dog, and he's tasked with forcing him free. Which, by the way, where did Nick Cage get a Sharpie? where did he
Don't
go
know.
down there just knowing there might be a body there, so I'm gonna have a Sharpie in my pocket?
I have a Sharpie in my pocket.
Forever.
Yeah.
So he has a Sharpie from somewhere, and he writes on the T-shirt the marshal's name. I don't remember how he even knows the marshal. There is something that connects.
John Malkovich calls the marshal from the plane and is talking.
So
to
he
the
writes
marshal.
it, and then he kicks the body out. And there's this couple just having the world's worst day already. What sound clip was this, Jesse?
Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck. And they're having the worst couple. They're already having a shitty day in traffic. Can we play that? Because this.
You see, every time I get a wax, I get 10 feet from the car wash and then pop, bird shit.
Well, it's supposed to be good luck.
By the way, people who say getting shit on by a bird is good luck and rain on your wedding day is good luck is just trying to make you feel better. They're
there's
trying to make
nothing-
you feel better.
Yeah, it's not. It's like we're actually experiencing super bad luck right now, right in this moment.
By the way, I love that he says car wash, because my grandma used to say wash.
Really?
Like, did you wash your hands? And she also got a couch at Davenport.
Well, it's supposed to be good luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I opened a fortune cookie from my favorite Chinese restaurant, California Wok. It's a great restaurant in Encino.
Shout out.
Maybe they'll sponsor us, give me some free food. I opened it up, and there was no fortune inside. Oof. And my wife looked at me, and she said,
Well, it's supposed to be good luck.
and I was like, actually, it's supposed to be terrible luck.
Actually-
it means bad things. If there's no forever.
Bad luck
Forever.
So in college, we used to do challenges all the time, and one time I had a friend.
You did a lot of challenges
No,
throughout
it
your
was
life.
the same challenge.
Same challenge.
He was
Okay.
he was in the freezer, and he came out, and he was talking about how like his body was all numb, and I looked at him and I was like,
Well, it's supposed to be good luck.
I knew we were gonna get one of those.
Yeah,
We did it.
It's supposed to be good luck. So then, right after she says that, Dave Chappelle's CPR corpse CPR dummy falls and smashes and just totals their Volvo.
Yeah.
And then it causes one of those hilariously 90s everybody fender bender, like in Independence Day when they all look up and there's like 25 cars, where like half their budget goes to crashing cars in one fender bender scene.
Yep.
God, I love that. I miss that. I want that more in movies now.
It's so quaint. It's like such a quaint car, like because now it's just like and even later in the movie, like everything's exploding.
Yeah.
But it's just so like a little bit harmless.
Yeah.
Just like enough so the airbags deploy, and that's it.
It totals the front of it. Oh my God. So then, I think I said the drinking game thing already, but when Cameron Poe is introduced, so they list off all these killers. They're like, the worst of the worst are on this plane. And then Nick Cage comes out in slow-mo with his hair flopping in the wind. We have a GIF of it on our Twitter handle.
Yeah.
At Guilty Movie Guys. And when he's... The DEA is like, who's this asshole or something? And then John Cusack's like, oh, that's just Cameron Poe. He's hitching a ride. Okay. All right.
Like he found the rideshare on Craigslist. I was like, you guys flying to my release point?
That's the worst Uber pool ever.
Do you mind if I hop in?
It's just like,
we're all going Dutch on gas,
there's
right?
there's no universe where someone like Baby O and Cameron Poe get put on the same plane as these
the worst
of the worst.
Sense, but it's so
good.
It's so good, and also like his exit from the plane, where just like the hair flowing. It's so good. It's Michael Bolton.
Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah.
Peak Michael Bolton.
So now I want to. So
some could argue is right now today.
We also we talked about the ridiculousness of the Anarchist Cookbook and the plane. How did Cyrus make a bomb in prison? And that there's so many things that are so silly. And what other? I'm trying to think if we have any other sound clips. Oh, okay. So then, one of the first times Nick Cage spends half the movie just helpless, and I forgot that. And so while I'm watching it last night, I'm like, shit, this is nothing really happens the first hour, but man, do they make up for it.
Sure.
But the first confrontation he has is when Billy Bedlam sneaks down and somehow finds Cameron Poe's box of things and finds a note saying, "My daddy's coming home." Nick Cage somehow sneaks away too, unbeknownst to anyone else.
Sure.
And he goes down there. He has a confrontation.
You would have thought someone would have seen the 3-foot trail of flowing hair as he went down into the cargo
His
hold.
Rapunzel hair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like blowing in the non-existent plane wind.
And the best is, then they have this hilarious like crouch run towards each other that's supposed to look super badass, but looks hilariously awkward, where they're like, we're gonna fight, and then they're in like this Being John Malkovich tiny like and then they start fighting.
You need strong thighs for that.
Yeah, the crab run. They beat the shit out. It's loud as hell.
Right.
No one hears it.
Nope.
Then Billy Bedlam gets impaled by a piece of metal that conveniently breaks off during their fight. And then Poe just leaves him there. He doesn't like hide the body.
Yeah, I mean there's an existing hole that was left by Dave Chappelle's body.
Throw another body.
Just throw him out there, I guess. But no.
And then that doesn't get discovered till way later. Nobody decides to go down there.
In fact, no one. They're the only people that go down there for the entirety of flight.
Except
like no
him
one else is
him
like
and Diamond Dog in the beginning when they.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else goes down there.
Yeah.
Super weird.
I don't know. I would want to get away for a while.
And don't you think that when he comes back up, only Steve Buscemi notices? He says 2 went down, 1 came up. No one of the other 30 characters know this. By the way, when they go to pick up Garland Green and they bring him out Hannibal Lecter style, and then they bring on like 12 other inmates that they never introduce, except there's like the wildly offensive, super effeminate character, which I think it was like the name of the character I looked up was Sally Can't Dance.
Interesting.
That was the name of the character.
That's awfully judgmental. I thought Sally was a great dancer.
I thought Sally did
Sally rocked the fuck out.
I thought it was Sally can dance very well.
Sally's a bomb-ass dancer.
Sally is a bomb-ass dancer. But so...
It's 90s lingo for you.
I know we're jumping all over. There's so much ridiculousness in this movie. But Garland Green gets on, and they build him up as like the worst of the worst, and he's kind of just this like likable,
super chill, just like
super philosophical dude.
Guy who like sits back and comments on stuff.
He says like is insanity working 50 hours a week? till you're 50 and then you die of a heart attack, and it's like, kind of. But
he's
it's also insane to wear a woman's head as a hat.
I guess,
through 3 states.
Yeah.
Through the tri-state
I mean,
area.
depends on where you got that head.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like a taxidermied head.
Right.
It's a very fashionable head.
It's a very fashionable head.
Yeah. This is, again, why I needed to know what 3 states he drove through.
Yeah, it's just, there's so much.
There's no accounting for fashion.
What clip is Take a Piss? I'm just curious.
It's easy for you to say. You don't gotta take a piss.
I don't even remember that one.
I can tell you exactly where that's
Please
from because
do.
this I felt for this guy so much. It was when they were on the second rendezvous point. So after Carson City, when they land the plane and they're trying to get the drug lord's plane.
Okay.
And the fight has broken out. It's like gunfire. The helicopters are coming in. Nick Cage finds himself under a truck with a local from the trailer park.
Yes.
And he's like, I need insulin for my friend. Do you have insulin?
It's easy for you to say. You don't gotta take a piss.
And he's basically like,
I'm gonna go.
Just hang tight.
here.
Hang tight. Don't move.
Yes.
And the guy's like, well.
Easy for you to say. Yeah. But the best part about that is that, let's get to that part. So to back up to what happens is they land at the rendezvous point to find the other plane.
Yeah.
Like we said in the summary, you find out that the cartel boss that they were helping get free, who's the guy with the ponytail that has no development at all. He's just hanging out in the
He's just
cockpit.
there to screw him over,
Yeah,
kind of.
and then they go and meet up. Nick Cage gets out to go find Baby-O some insulin because he's a goner if he doesn't. And he first runs into the cartel guys in the tiny plane, and the one cartel dude pulls out a gun and he goes, well, everybody's gonna hear that bang, and then the dude puts on a silencer. And can we put on this is what he says.
Hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
Just one more time.
Hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
You know what? I get really tense a lot, and I've been trying to go to yoga to kind of chill out and things like that. And they play music throughout most of it, but then there's the what is it, chaturanga or shavasana? Some shit at the end.
Those are both things.
Some shit at the end where you lay down and you like connect and like silence and you're just breathing. And just in my head, I just get really aggravated because all these thoughts go in, but it's silent out there, but my head's really busy. And all I want to just yell out is,
hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
I actually really love yoga. Alternative fact.
Yeah.
Which one is the real one now?
Oh, it's so unclear. I went to like an indie band show, and it was at this dive bar in Silver Lake, and I show up expecting this huge crowd, and I'm literally the only one there, and the band is called Silence, and as soon as I walked in, they start playing, and I said to myself,
hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
And I walked out.
You know what? You and I used to do stand-up.
Yep.
This is a real fact. And I remember a few times when I would go up and when you really want some, like you're trying out a new joke and I made the poor decision of opening with a new joke. At a
Never do that.
At a decent venue.
Never do that, folks.
And it fucking bombed. And at the end of it, there was just crickets. And I just looked at the audience and said,
hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
And I just dropped the mic and left.
So this is actually a little peek behind the curtain. This is the first week that I've done the sound clips because Ben was busy with a baby.
I added
Yeah,
7
you did
to
add-
it.
you
No,
did
there's
add some.
20 sound clips. I don't think we'll ever get to all of them.
But so I was trying to do it, and I like my first couple attempts, I had the volume on a regular level on my TV, and I listened to the playback on my phone, and I heard nothing, and I just said to myself,
hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
You know, there's actually a B-side to the Simon and Garfunkel song from the Graduate soundtrack, The Sound of Silence, and it's a little bit more aggressive because The Sound of Silence to me has always been kind of a melancholy tune, but there's the other version, because I don't know if you knew this, but Simon and Garfunkel had a metal phase,
of course,
where they
knew that.
went kind of nuts, and one of their songs was
hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
Forever. We're gonna move on from that, but real quick, I know we have the just to sum up DEA guy. Thesaurus Boy is a great clip to show how big of a dick this DEA agent is.
Pick up Mr. Santino in Carson City. From Benton to the plane hits Alabama, we've got 2 hours to get him to talk. We got you a seat right next to him, and he's known to be somewhat garrulous in the company of thieves.
Garrulous? What the fuck is garrulous?
That would be loquacious, verbose, effusive. How about chatty?
What's with dictionary, boy? Thesaurus boy, I think, is more appropriate.
See, John Cusack's dialogue is so snappy.
Yeah.
But the DEA guy, I know we already said it, he's the biggest dumb fuck. And he's just played like, later on, I didn't get this clip, but later on, they're like, I wonder where Larson or whatever his name, John Cusack's character, and he's like, he's probably out saving the fucking rainforest or something. And you're like, what? You can tell like this character's written as a total stereotype of like, you fucking hippie, you want to like hold hands and sing Kumbaya? I'll tell you how to do the real job around here.
Yeah, except it's like not useless stuff like holding hands and sing Kumbaya would be potentially in that scenario. He's like mad that he wants to save the rainforest and he's mad that he's using words that he doesn't understand. Yeah. Like that's such a weird criticism to be like, what's with the guy using the words I don't know?
I don't know words.
Hey, you just used a bunch of words. I guess they all mean the same, but I don't know any of them.
I don't know. I don't know the difference between a dictionary and a thesaurus.
Hey, what's your freaking problem? Why don't we just catch the things?
Are you telling me what I'm going to be doing here, numbnuts?
Yeah.
Yes. So then,
wait, hold on. Just to I know that you keep saying we're jumping around a lot, and this is my favorite. I already said my favorite. This is my second favorite sound clip. I'm gonna rank all the sound clips later for everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna rank it on Twitter.
So follow me.
Oh fuck, yeah. Are you gonna do the Billy Bedlam thing? What he says to him?
I'm gonna do the three white guys short.
Okay. Wait, what?
Oh, all right, and that was it. That's our show.
Is I found Benson, Carls, and Popovich.
What's the bad news?
Bad news is this dead fella right here happens to be Benson. This Aryan fella with the bullet hole in his forehead is Carl's, and this honky he's dragging in is Popovich. I don't know how to tell you this, Cyrus, but we are three white guys short. Or as they say in Ebonics, we be fucked.
That's so great. The end of that.
We be fucked.
Or as they say in Ebonics, because I don't know if you noticed, I'm black.
It's such a weirdly pseudo-racist thing to say. But it's Dave Chappelle. He improvised most of his lines, they said.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well,
I do love that sound clip.
He nailed that.
We forgot to do the sound clip where he fights Billy Bedlam, and he says this clip that is repeated more than anything from this movie. Can we play Bunny in the Box?
Put the bunny back in the box.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Put the bunny back in the
Because Billy
box.
Bedlam's holding it like he's going to drop the bunny out.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Put the bunny back in the box.
after he kills Billy Bedlam, the thing he says, we don't have the clip, but he goes, why didn't you just put the bunny back in the box? It's like we are.
And then a deleted scene is just him looking at the bunny being like, if he had put the bunny in the box, I wouldn't have had to be so violent. Why did he not listen to my very serious instruction?
We got to get into this third act because it's so crazy.
I just wanted to say before we get into that the alternate ending of Seven, the movie Seven, they deliver the box to Brad Pitt, and he's like, "What's in the box? What's it?" And they open it, and there's a bunny, and he takes it out, and Morgan Freeman's like,
We are three white guys short. Or as they say in Ebonics, we be fucked.
I guess that works too.
I mean, kind of.
Sure.
I think there's six white guys short at that point.
So then the Carson City thing happens where the cops show up and they ambush them, and they just start blowing up the cops, and everything's exploding. John Cusack gets in a giant whatever you call it, the construction vehicle of sorts.
Yeah.
And they all get behind him, and he's like shielding him from the bad guys. Just explosions galore. When Nick Cage, something, I forget what happens, but it makes the store blow up. Oh, they have the gas and everything set up to explode.
Yes.
And it explodes the gas station. He jumps through a window, happens to roll under the car where the store owner happens to be.
Yep.
And then that's how he finds the insulin. But meanwhile, he's looking for the insulin while just dozens of innocent police officers are being mowed down. And I get that Baby O is his buddy, but shouldn't his Army Ranger side have kicked in to help a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has loyalty already. But you would think that he would be more concerned about all human life.
Yeah. Oh,
if he were like,
I know what happens.
Yeah, tell me.
It's sorry, I just remembered. It's that the cartel. I totally just cut you off. I'm sorry.
No,
Man.
it's okay.
The cartel dudes go off in the tiny plane, and John Cusack lowers the crane on them.
Yes.
And it smashes off there, and then the plane flies into the gas station and blows up.
Yes.
This is when the movie goes from like 0 to 5,000.
Yes.
And stays that way.
The best part of Nicolas Cage walking around this whole trailer park is when he has the brilliant idea to keep this plane on the ground. I'm going to tie it to a post, as if they're escaping in like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. It doesn't
Like
make any
something
sense.
that has no propulsion.
Yeah.
Because like the plane immediately sheds itself of this thing.
Well, no, they shoot it free with machine guns.
But it like pulls it off the ground.
Yeah.
They're like flying with it, and then they
yeah.
have to like get it off. But
Well,
like
no. What happens is, remember, they shoot it free, but somehow the hook is still attached, and it attaches to the DEA guy's
right,
car.
that's right. Yeah, and the car's
and the
flopping
car's
around.
flopping around, and then they smash the car into a guard tower or one of the aerial towers, whatever, traffic control, and it blows up and and it happens to fall right in front of the DEA guy and John Cusack and just blow up.
Because he's like, that looks like my car, but it can't be my car. I parked back at the station.
We forgot when he confronts the John Cusack, because John Cusack comes in and helps him with the cartel guys. Which, by the way, all of them get murdered, and then the pilot's just chilling in the plane, waiting for his boss. And I guess I would hang out in there too if I hear gunshots and people getting murdered outside.
Sure.
But so John Cusack,
he's in the cartel. He's a professional at avoiding stuff like that.
So John Cusack shows up, and the two men I trust line is great. This is where he's like, "You got to trust me," and Nick Cage says this. Cue. Clip Q.
Sorry, boss, but there's only two men I trust. One of them's me, the other's not you.
The other one we'll never know. We'll never know.
Be more specific, please.
Yeah. The best thing about this is that there's absolutely no reason for him to not give more information to the marshal right now. Like, hey, there's 12 dudes on board. This person's dead so far. He's just so, like, flippant with him.
Especially since he already reached out to him.
Yeah, he's
like,
super
he's the one that brought him into this.
And he's super like, hey, I remember when I left his body? Well, go fuck yourself.
Kinda,
it's like, wait, why didn't you guys make a plan right here? Like, hey, because at that point, this is his hubris. This is where I'm sorry if I'm using big words. This is his hubris where he's too full of himself where he's like, I'm going to keep this plane on the ground. Not thinking, if it gets up in the air, hey, federal marshal dude, should we have a plan B?
Right.
Should we discuss this?
Right.
Nope, because I don't trust you. Just me and some other guy I'm not going to mention.
Hooray for the sounds of fucking silence.
It's so weird. It's such a weird scene.
I just wish with everything I have that John Cusack had a follow up and been like, is like your dad? Or like do you have a brother? Or like a really good friend? Because
it's specifically two men. If it was two people, then I'd say his wife.
Right.
Well, who's the other guy?
I don't know.
And Baby-O.
Follow up, how many women does he trust?
Exactly. Baby-O is the other guy.
Yeah,
I think.
maybe.
That's who I think. So they get free. There's all these explosions, just cars blowing up, planes blowing up, gas stations. The DEA's car gets thrown off, and then they get up in the air and they're all celebrating because I think and Sweet Home Alabama is playing. Yeah. And then we have Steve Buscemi's irony clip. Can we play that?
Define irony. Bunch of idiots dancing on a plane to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty solid. I love that clip. Oh, I did forget another clip.
He's also, incidentally, in that clip, Dictionary Boy, not Thesaurus Boy.
Yes, exactly. I forgot one of my favorite Malkovich clips is when Cameron Poe gets out of being caught by the bad guys in such ridiculous ways throughout this movie where, like, no actual bad guy would believe his lies. Like when Diamond Dog's about to kill the cops in Carson City, and Cameron Poe's like, why, no, you think I don't want to put a bullet in each one of their heads? And it's like super overwrought. And
he like kicks one of them over, And
he's like, we don't want to kill our only leverage. And then Malkovich, can we do Malkovich's barbecue?
Oh, don't want me to off the pigs.
Well, it's not difficult to surmise how Nathan here feels about killing guards, and my own proclivities are well-known and often lamented facts of penal lore. What I'm wondering is why you have any opinion about it at all.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man.
It tastes good.
That single section of dialogue, I want to play again because it might be my favorite few lines, in my top 10 favorite few lines of all time.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
I want to play the whole thing again just so you can digest Malkovich's vernacular.
Don't want me to off the pigs.
Well, it's not difficult to surmise how Nathan here feels about killing guards, and my own proclivities are well-known and often lamented facts of penal lore. What I'm wondering is why you have any opinion about it at all.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
Often lamented facts of penal lore.
This actually happened to me. If you can cue up the Cyrus barbecue, the end of that clip. This actually happened to me when I was in North Carolina visiting my sister. They were cooking like deer and like beef on the grill, and I have nothing against. I eat beef and all that stuff. I'm fine, but every once in a while, I had a lot that week, and I wanted to have some salmon. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And like, I think one person even said like they'd never put salmon on this grill. Salmon had never touched this grill before. And everybody started to act like they were getting a little offended. And I just looked and I was like,
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
And I ate the beef, the Walmart beef.
So I was shopping for a grill. And I do a weird thing when I shop for grills because I always get used grills.
Yeah.
And so I like the flavor that's on the grate already. And so
people, like stuff from other people.
Yeah, just like because people cook stuff.
So
and
you go
just,
to the park and
in.
you're one of those people that goes to the park and doesn't put the foil down because you're like, I trust what's already on here.
Hell no, it's already on there. Like it adds to the flavor. So I was buying a grill from this guy whose name was Cyrus, as it turns out. And he was like showing me, and I picked the grate up off the grill and I put it in my mouth. And he looked at me like I was insane, and I just said to him,
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
And I bought it.
He was incredibly appreciative of that. I'm sure.
Guys, I was actually in Hollywood, up in Beverly Hills, about a year.
Oh, I know of it.
Probably like 8 years ago, right? And I was walking down the street with my dog, and I ended up at this random party. And if you're in Hollywood, you see a party, you just kind of show up and see if you can get in, right?
Always.
So, especially when I'm with the dog.
Walking around this party, they got lots of food. I'm eating a hot dog. I got a burger on my plate, and from behind me, I just hear, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I turn around. It was a Hannah Montana rap party, and they were like, "What the fuck are you doing? What do you think of the food?" And I was just like,
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
Especially when Billy Ray came in. You don't want to piss off Billy Ray.
They were like so angry at you, but still wanted your approval.
That's the
That
best.
was like a weird.
That was the best. Like, get the not get the fuck out of here, but before you get the fuck out of here, we want to know what you think of our hot dogs.
Like rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 before
Can you give us
you
a
get
Yelp
the fuck
review?
out of here.
Give me an emoji review. Oh God. Okay. I don't want to go too long with this show because people will get bored. But here's the thing. No, they won't. They're going to listen to this forever. I want to rival the Bad Boys 2. We did an hour and a half on Bad Boys 2.
That's, by the way, one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's incredible.
We could redo Bad Boys 2 and it could be
It's
2
so good.
hours.
So we got to get into then. They escape. They're singing "Sweet Home Alabama," and then the army choppers catch up with them. They finally know what's going on, and there's a shootout and stuff. And that's when Cameron Poe takes that opportunity to go lock himself in the cockpit and commandeer the plane. But nobody but this one dude, which I forget his name, but he's in everything. He's this super tall, like biker-looking guy. He's in every movie ever. And he's the only pilot out of all these criminals. Right. And Cyrus gets knocked out by the female cop, which I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you let her kick some ass, which she's pretty tough. I wish they gave her a little bit more toughness, like a little bit more things to do. Yeah. But it's fine. It's Jerry Bruckheimer. What do you expect? So then the engine gets shot out, and they're like, we can't. Yeah. And so they crash on the Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
They knock off the Hard Rock sign and just shatters. There's, first of all, the DEA guy's like, civilian casualties will be enormous. And then, like, they're just like, I think thousands of people were, at least dozens were killed. Because there's like a guy who's in like the valet booth when they crash into the Riviera or whatever it is. And they show him like start to move, and then they cut to a wide, and the way he was going out didn't have an exit. So like he ducked behind a desk.
I mean,
I was like, this is all I can do.
You should always have an action plan.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And they just smack. There's like him and Cyrus and Cameron Poe are fighting, and the propeller flies through, and they happen to dodge it just in time. There's so much amazing shit that happens.
But how appropriate, because you go to Vegas to gamble.
Yeah.
Like, what's a bigger gamble than like standing in front of an incoming plane?
Yeah, I mean yeah.
Who knows?
Well, it's supposed to be good luck.
Yeah.
Just give me a few more minutes, Stephen, I promise. Okay, so then the propeller flies through. They They crash land. All the prisoners are accounted for except the pilot, Diamond Dog, and Cyrus the Virus. So what Cameron Poe and John Cusack do, they get on the police motorcycles and they chase after them. 2 other cops drop a donut and go. I love that little detail. And then they get blasted off with a fire hose. Diamond Dog gets exploded by a motorcycle that hits him. And then Cyrus and Poe are fighting up top. He gets This is the greatest death scene in I think any action movie I've seen in recent memory. He gets handcuffed to a ladder, the fire truck ladder. Cameron Poe raises that up, and he smashes him through a bridge first off, which then unhooks the handcuff somehow. He flies through the bridge, lands on top of a car in a junkyard somehow, and you think, oh, he's dead. Then they cut to him being pulled up a junkyard ramp, and he lands where there's some weird smashing device that is just enough to smash a head.
It's
like just the size of a head smasher.
A head size smasher.
For something.
Which you have in junkyards.
Which you just have right next to the Vegas Strip.
For all the head size trash.
Just right next to the Strip.
Yeah.
He somehow ends up here. So not only did he get smashed through a bridge, lands on a car, ends up on a conveyor belt, and then looks up and it smashes his head and they show his body go limp.
It was like
it's the greatest death
it was
ever.
A Rube Goldberg machine of death. It was like,
so
how many ways can we maim this guy before he is actually meets his end?
Before his head gets smashed, he only has like a little cut on his forehead. That's it.
He's resilient.
Meanwhile, Danny Trejo was handcuffed, and in the plane crash, he's there, and the cops go, yeah, he's dead. And they pull him away, and it's awesome. His arm is still hanging. So it's like, how did John Malkovich's arm not rip off? Well, it's so amazing.
He's a better criminal.
Holy shit.
That's how I judge my criminals.
You know what? I do want to play one more clip because Poe, one of his heroic lines to save Baby-O is when he says God exists. Can we play that clip?
Where you going? I'm going to show you God does exist.
You know what? And he goes like storming through. One guy shoots him in the shoulder and he doesn't even react.
He doesn't even react. That's amazing.
He just beats the hell out of everybody. That's how he commandeers the plane. I completely glossed over that. The fact of the matter is, there are too many. This movie proves to me God exists because there are too many amazing things to talk about in 1 hour.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the questions one, which you had set up so nicely.
Here are the rules. First I ask a question, then you ask a question, then you ask a question, and then you ask a question, and then you
I'd really love to ask a question, but you keep interrupting me.
And then you ask a question, and then you ask a question,
right, okay, so
and then you ask a question,
so you
and then
first,
you
and
ask
then...
a question.
It's like a Sean Spicer press second.
First thing is I ask a question, and then you ask. It sounds like 20,000 questions.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But I'm not going to give you any answers. So
oh my God, this was so fun. This is so fun. What was that?
Not delicious.
What the fuck was that?
I love that clip. Can we play it again?
What that means? Nothing. Not delicious.
You know, when you boil it down, what does anything mean? Not diddly shit.
Not diddly
Am I
shit.
right? Oh, this has been so fun. This has been so fun. We went a little long today. We promised to rein it back into a more digestible chunk, but
I'm going to be
this
honest.
was fun.
I feel like we went a little short today.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know what? We just gave you more bang for your buck because we've been gone 2 months.
Hell yeah.
So you are welcome, America.
Yes, please.
Please throw this on for our outro. Jesse, where can they find you?
At Too Much Jesse, now on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah!
Oh, we did it. And then Prom Losers for Sketch. We have stuff coming out soon. We have it lined up for the Walking Dead premiere. So hopefully something will be out at the beginning of February. PromLosers.com.
At The Ben Begley on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find at Guilty Movie Guys. That's us. The podcast, follow us. Go on iTunes, write a review, give us some stars. Go on YouTube, write some comments, troll us. I don't care. Tell your friends.
Sing this song into a camera and post it.
Oh, please do that. Someone sing this song. Also, Funhouse Massacre. I've talked about it 100 times. It's a movie my wife and I wrote. Hey, we have a baby now. We need diaper money. So go support it. Go watch it on Showtime. It's free if you have Showtime. And next week, we are going to do Resident Evil Apocalypse in honor of Resident Evil, the final chapter coming out. That is the second Resident Evil movie. So brush up on your Alice history, your Mila Jovovich action movie. We're going to have a blast with that one. He's never seen it.
Never once in my life.
Resident Evil Apocalypse next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. Until then, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.